Imagine that. 2024. 2024. Poof. 2023 what? Gone. Oh man, did it go by fast. And there's so many changes happening on the world. On the political front, on the business front, and on the front of organizations such as Onpassive. We gotta roll our sleeves up, folks. We're the ones we're waiting for. Yeah, if we want this to be a success, this whole world gonna change. It's not gonna change until we change. Let's boogie. Hey there, Neil here, the Twisted Light Worker. 2023 is already behind us. Man, did that year go by fast. And the world is turned right upside down in total turmoil from the North Pole to the South Pole. It's all upside down. Global political scene is a mess. The global economic scene is even worse. And guess what? That's a good thing. Because those of us who've been doing deep research, we know that 𝓚𝓚𝓬𝓮 is coming along, and it looks like the gold-backed currency won't be too long. So there's going to be a shakeup and a lot of mess and a lot of strife and changes taking place over the next 365 days. 2024 is going to prove to be a real challenge and totally interesting and a lot of fun too, but I waited all my life for this time. And it's a great awakening. People are starting to realize that there's evil on the planet that has to be dealt with and taken care of. We got to pull the weeds in the garden, so to speak. I'll get into that a little bit more. But this video is mainly going to be about Onpassive. And that company blows my mind. Truly blows my mind. I signed up in in June of this year. And this as an affiliate. But the founding affiliates, they've been at this for 5 years. And here's why it blows my mind. They never had a product to sell. They got 1 million people hanging on to a hope and a dream, and they're building it. And the company is manufacturing and creating web-based program tools in behind. And it's going to be a massively big company. They have offices all over the world. Dubai, in the Burj Khalifa. They own the whole floor. 134th floor, I believe it is. They're in Singapore, India, Egypt, Florida. And more coming from what I understand. And they just never had a product release until September of this year. Well, like I said, I signed up in June of 23 as an affiliate. And I'm a proud affiliate. And excited because I think the company is going to go places. How could it not? They have 1 million people who have been on the background waiting for the company to have everything ready. 1 million. And no product. What that does is that shows you the caliber of the people who are affiliates, or I should say, founding affiliates. They all have heart. The company has heart. The whole thing was built on the premise of helping humanity. And that's exactly where the whole global situation's all about. We're learning to, once again, enjoy life and love living. We're going to give up the struggle to survive and learn to love life and love living again. And that's something that we've been programmed out of us. I won't get into MK Ultra programming and all of that, but that's all part of it. If you watch all my videos that I've put up on the last 3 years, you'll get a drift. Maybe you haven't done any research on that area. Maybe you're an expert. Maybe you're like me and still trying to be an expert. I've done an awful lot of research on that. But going back to the people on Onpassive, they all have heart, and they all believe the world is about to make a better change, and Onpassive is going to be a part of it. And that's why they hung in there. And that's why they stuck it out right on up until September this year when the product was launched. Well, I signed up in June, and I bought my subscription to 𝓚₼ immediately. And the coolest thing is I planned on doing web events for the last year, but I just couldn't get excited about using any of the platforms for webinars that are available. It just knotted up my stomach, and I couldn't figure out why. 𝓘𝓽𝓻𝓮 comes along, and boom, I got there's the why. So that's why I purchased my 𝓘𝓽𝓻 immediately when it came out. And I've been wrestling, trying to catch up now on getting ready to do my Thrivalism Thursdays, I call them. Now, that brings me to the point where things are exciting, because Thrivalism Thursday is going to be broken into 3 parts. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me so that you know who I am and my background. I've studied ancient metaphysics, Toltec, various meditation and spiritual courses that I've taken, all kinds of sales and marketing and motivation, from Brian Tracy to Dennis Waitley to Tony Robbins. I shook all 3 of those people. I shook their hands. I was right into all this personal growth stuff. And so I'm poised to share some of that information. So on Thrivalism Thursday, there's 3 parts to it. The first part is I'm going to be sharing personal growth, personal development, and awakening from my background of experience. I've probably spent 30 grand on those education courses and things that I've taken. So now I can give a little bit back from all what I've spent. The second part of Thrivalism Thursday is what we can do to make our communities better. And so it's going to be kind of a brainstorming. I've got a few things to get started on. So it's already in motion up here. And now it needs to be in motion out there. And so that's cool. And the third component of Thrivalism Thursday is going to be tying all 3 of these together. So how can I help some of the existing founders, the existing affiliates, as well as create a team for myself to build? So all of that is going to be on Thrivalism Thursday. And so I'm pumped. The people of Onpassive, the teams that are out there, they're all filled with compassion and loving. And it's absolutely astounding to see so many of them, 1 million of them, and no product. It still blows my mind. I bring that up more than once in this video because literally it's never been done before. This is brand new. It's totally crazy and exciting at the same time. So there's some things that we're going to cover in this video, and there's one little bump on the road that I see is going to happen with a lot of the affiliates and even the founding affiliates. Why do I say that? Because it happened to me. And I'm going to share that story, but I'm not going to share it right now. I'm going to get into that and watch it all unfold, because I think that when you state the problem and you state a solution and you never look at the problem again, and that's what you do in the gardening. You see the weed, you pull the weed, you don't have to look at the weed again. That's progress. You know what happens when you ignore evil, or when you ignore the weeds in the garden? The weeds will take over and you won't harvest. If you ignore evil, you become ignorant. You're ignorant of the fact that evil exists. And so many people believe that your attention goes, energy flows where your attention goes. And I believe that. That's 100% true. But that does not mean to say that you have the right to be ignorant of the weeds that are in the garden. You can't ignore them. You have to deal with them properly. And you have to do your part to pull the weeds out. And it all starts with pulling the weeds out of the garden of our minds and souls. And that is where my first section of Thrivalism Thursday steps into. You see, confidence is the beginning of the warrior spirit. Sometimes that's what will get you through. The warrior spirit is confidence. You see, confidence is the beginning of the warrior spirit. Sometimes that's what will get you through. The warrior spirit is confidence with a strategy or an impeccable maneuver. The warrior spirit is also a maneuver creative, so unique and so impeccable that its act will open up a gateway by intent. Confidence that passes all understanding is the key to opening any gateway or overcoming any obstacle. Such a confidence is akin to unbending intent, a force akin to intent. It is something only you can give yourself, because you must have the warrior spirit to do so. You must have the warrior spirit to do so. So what does that mean, the warrior spirit? That's metaphysical. That's Toltec. That's where God hath not given a spirit of fear, but of love and of power and of sound mind. So many people get hooked on the power, on the love. What about the power? Yeah, you have to have power. That's not power over others. That's power over your own inept abilities, so that you can actually harness the power that the universe has inside you. I could get into this for hours and hours and hours. I do 8-hour workshops on this topic, but that's for another video. So let's carry on. See, the average man is either victorious or defeated, and depending on that, he becomes a persecutor or a victim. These two conditions are prevalent as long as one does not see. Seeing dispels the illusion of victory or defeat. What does that mean? Seeing dispels the illusion of victory or defeat or suffering. What it means is, when you see, you realize it's all just a game. Life is just a game. And we play to make the most out of ourselves with our connection to that divine spirit that's inside each and every one of us. That is awakening. These times are producing that, and it starts with compassionate people, but it can't have only love. It has to have the power to overcome your own inadequacies, your own habits, your own negative thinking. Yeah. See, a warrior seeks personal power not to influence the affairs of people or the world. A warrior seeks personal power only to get where one is going, and that is to freedom. And to achieve freedom, it is necessary to give it to the affairs of the people of the world. Think about that. A warrior seeks personal power not to influence the affairs of people or the world. A warrior seeks personal power only to get where one is going, and that is to freedom. And to achieve freedom, it is necessary to give it to the affairs of the world. That's powerful. And no doubt it goes over a lot of people's heads, because it's not thoughts that we normally think about. Yeah, pulling the weeds in the garden of our soul starts with getting rid of bad habits in between our ears, starting opening our minds up to the potential to actually see the reality of what's around us. We have to see the weeds in our minds and our souls, in our homes and in our communities, and pull them. We can't ignore them, because that makes us ignorant. And we can't do that. That's not awakening. That's hiding. There's a big difference. See, energy does flow where attention goes. But that doesn't mean to say by looking at the weeds, that's a negative intention. No, negative attention. No, you got to look at the weeds, because if you don't, they'll overpower the garden. So you got to pull the damn weeds. Simple as that. You got to be willing to look at them. You can't be ignorant. You can't ignore the facts and reality around you. You have to be willing to put on the armor of God, because God hath not given us a spirit of fear, but of love and of power. Yeah, and sound mind. Oh yeah, you have to have all three and they're given to us in abundance. We already have them, but we have to claim them. That is the key. We have to claim them. So here's what situation is that happened to me that is going to be important for all of the affiliates, the founding members, the founding affiliates, and everybody to actually take it and consider. What happened to me? I mentioned my Thrivalism Thursday. Well, there was a forum on Telegram, and the forum owner was into the spiritual things like I am. Naturally, it was her forum, so I had to be careful how I posted on her. And I spent 6 months to a year, probably more, probably over a year, building up a rapport and posting things that were relevant and to everyone in the forum. And I didn't want to get kicked off the forum by marketing my Thrivalism Thursday right from September when I purchased my 𝓘𝓽𝓻𝓮. So I was working on doing that in a way that would be a fit for everybody in the forum, and it wouldn't get me knocked off. So here's the post that I made. As you can see, I'm advertising the Thrivalism Thursdays. I'm going to make this a little bigger so you can see it. I'll move it around. Bear with me. Here's what my post read. The days in the north are getting longer, and the days left in 2023 are near an end. Let's make 2024 a year of positive, where we listen more to our intuition and less to the noise around us. Let us be mindful of the 5 C's that foster negative thinking: complaining, criticizing, concerns, commiserating, catastrophicizing, meaning no more making mountains out of molehills. Let's get on with pulling the weeds in the garden of our souls, minds, homes, and communities and start planting seeds of positive change. We will thrive and be happy. That is Thrivalism. That is Thrivalism. So we'll see you on Thrivalism Thursdays. And then I had a link to the video that explains it. Now notice on the link here, it says Onpassive and 𝓘𝓽𝓻𝓮. So now I'm going to get into what actually happened, how that affected me in a negative way. There was a founding member of Onpassive, a member of that forum, who looked at that post and chastised me for trying to advertise and build my business on the forum that didn't belong to me. So guess what happened? The admin of the forum banned me. 6.5 months to, well, I'm sure it was over 12. I'm sure I was a member of that forum more than 12 months. So 6 months to a 1.5 years of work on that forum, out the window. Poof. She squashed me. So needless to say that when that first happened, I was livid. And if she'd have been within reach, I would have turned her over my knee and give her a doggone whooping. But I've calmed down a little bit. I want to turn this into a positive. How can it be a positive? And I thought the best thing that I can do is share the reason why it's a positive. Because it's a message for each and every one of you who are founding members and affiliates and who are out there working to build your Onpassive business. Not only did she squash me, she squashed every single user that may be in your group. You might have signed up a user that didn't upgrade to an affiliate, and they may have come to a Thrivalism Thursday, and that is 100% okay by me. I'm not charging for them. They're free. They're free workshops. Her users might have been a part of a Thrivalism Thursday, and something I might have said might have uploaded into their brain, and they would have upgraded to become an affiliate, and she lost that income. That's disgusting. You should be as mad as I was, because she hurt your business. She hurt 𝓚𝓚 because of her ignorance. Now here's where I'm not mad anymore. It's time to realize that this is a weed in the garden of some people's minds. They don't see the big picture. A smart affiliate would have made a note and popped in on one or two or three or four of my Thrivalism Thursdays as they come up, and she would have then made a decision to participate in more, maybe even send the link to my Thrivalism to her users who have not upgraded yet. You see that? This is a positive lesson for you. It hurt me financially right away and all the work that I've done, but you know what? It hurt you financially. It hurt you for all the work you've done. Your users might go to a webinar Tom, Dick, and Harry put on, and you might not even agree with all of the things that their web event has to offer, but your affiliates that you personally involved, your users might have upgraded. So Tom, Dick, and Harry might not have the same philosophy as you, but not every one of your users has the same philosophy as you either. So there's the lesson. I'm turning this into as much of a positive as I possibly can, because I'll just keep on going. I'll just keep doing. And hopefully I'll have a whole bunch of users who don't belong in my organization come to the workshops, and they make you money. Why is that important to me? Because we are working together to create a world of our choice, to make a world a better place to be. We have to work together. We have to realize that another person's effort, even if you don't agree with it, look close. Look close. If they're working for the good of humanity, never put them down. If they're trespassing and trying to steal your group, that's a different story. But in this case, there was certainly no reason in the world why she didn't attend my Thrivalism Thursday rather than get me knocked off that forum. So let that be a lesson to each and every one of you here, because it's time. It's time that we pull the weeds in the garden. And we can't ignore them, because that makes us ignorant. Let's not be ignorant. Let's not ignore the weeds. Let's realize they're there, and let's do something about them. That's step 2 of my workshop. Step 1 is personal growth. Get the weeds out of your own garden of your soul and your mind. And then do things in the community. And the third part would have been exciting. I think that will be an exciting part of my Thrivalism Thursday, because we're going to share different ideas that how we're using the products. I'm sure 𝓚𝓚 is looking forward to 1 million workshops going on, 1 million webinars taking place. I'm sure he's looking forward to that day when there's that many webinars taking place on the globe, 1 million a day. So we got to be careful that we're not shooting ourselves in the foot and hurting somebody directly. So that's enough of that. Let's have some fun with pulling the weeds in the garden. Check this clip out. Twisted light worker having fun and making a point at the same time. Almost forgot to put this in. It's a little fill I'm adding in. I'll find a place to put it when I edit. A big shout out to Chris Johnson. One of his recent videos, he mentioned that he had watched The Sound of Freedom. Yeah, that's exactly what I mean by being willing to look at the weeds in the garden. Pull them out. If we ignore them, we're ignorant. So a big shout out to Chris Johnson for that. Cheers, buddy. Cheers.
You know what? Pulling the corruption on the planet, getting rid of all of the bad guys, is the same thing as pulling weeds in the garden. We have to pull them. We can't just look at them. If we want to reap the harvest.
Oh, I like to have fun in life, and I like to be silly. And I can be deep. I can be powerful with my metaphysical workshops. And yet at the same time, I like to be silly. And that throws a lot of people off because they watch my introductions and they think that this guy doesn't have any clue what's going on whatsoever until they get to know me. Then they realize I just like to have a little bit of fun. And you never judge a book by the cover. So I'm glad whoever is still with me in this video, it tells me that you didn't look at my intro on this video and shut the book. Shut the book. Hopefully I'm going to make you some money in this video too. And that's what it's all about. Because we want to have some freedom to make this world a better place. So, warrior spirit. The awakening does two different things. We awaken the healer or we awaken the warrior. And each and every one of us has both of these qualities within it. Because John 14:10-12. I'm not going to look recite it. I want you to look it up. John 14:10-12. And ask yourself, who are the ones? Are you one? Are you one? John 14:10-12. I dare you to look it up. So, a warrior spirit and a healer. When a person awakens to the attributes that they naturally have within, we have the healers and we have the warriors. Now, I would say that there's 1 million founding members, and the majority of them are very, very strong on the healers because they're out there and they're keeping each other motivated. And that's a beautiful thing to watch and see. And the warriors, they take a different approach. They're more into hugging, not into hugging trees. They're into shaking the trees. But tough love is what the warrior's all about. Tough love. And tough love is important, just as important as hugging and gentle love. Tough love is required in some places, sometimes. And some people are better at giving tough love. I tend to be leaning more to doing that. I hug people too. I took a girl from the street, and after a few months, I'll keep it real short. But she went back to school after 5 months of working with her. She had been working on the street, and you know what I mean by that. She spent some time in jail for a heinous crime, and I turned her life around. She's been straight and sober, went back to school, upgraded, got her grade 12. So there was some tough love required with the time that I spent with her, and there was also some tree hugging time. And it's a challenge because the warrior spirit will shake a tree, knock the nuts off the tree, and they'll fall to the ground. And that warrior may not be the one to water the seed. Somebody else might. But if this nut's still stuck on the tree, it ain't going to grow. So tough love is required. And the founders who've been there for 5 years, it's so obvious, so many of them are absolutely beautiful tree huggers. Don't step on the ones who shake the tree. Step on the ones who break a tree. They're the weeds in the garden that need to be pulled. You don't want to break the tree. But shake them up a little bit. Tough love. It's required. And you know what? Watching people grow. That young lady that I helped, oh my God. My heart bursts to know that she's been 10 years straight and sober. 10 years straight and sober. Got back. Yeah. I won't go into more of that. That's just a beautiful thing. So, let's take a look at something here. The humbleness of the warrior is not the humbleness of the beggar. The warrior lowers his head to no one, but at the same time, he doesn't permit anyone to lower his head to him. The beggar, on the other hand, falls to the knees at the drop of a hat and scrapes the floor to anyone he deems to be higher. But at the same time, the beggar, he demands that someone lower than him scrape the floor for him. So I have to ask the question, can you be in heaven when you are in hell? Can you give him hell and stir things up in heaven? A warrior is not passive, nor is the warrior spirit ever at rest. So when you carry force, there's no room for pain and trauma. Force teaches you a different path. Force teaches you different worlds. Self-pity only carries your defeat before you even have a chance to defend yourself. It's better to carry force rather than your pain and your trauma. I am excited. 2024. So many lessons that we've learned in the last 3 years. Not just holding each other up in Onpassive as the founders obviously have, but what we've seen changes in the world globally, in the economics. Soon the gold back coming in, sometime in 2024, who knows when, but I know it'll happen sometime in 24. Putting a date on it, I've been wrong a few times, so I won't put a date on it, but it's coming. That may be the reason why there's been a challenge with money transferring with corporate. Think about it. Do a little homework. Don't ignore what's going on politically, because that makes you ignorant. Yes, it's true. Energy flows where attention goes. But when you see the weed, what do? You pull it. You put the attention on the solution. You don't ignore the problem, because if you ignore the problem, that makes you ignorant. That's a huge part of the message of this video, because I see so many Onpassive affiliates and founding affiliates ready to rock and roll. This company is going to be a huge part of changing the world. Something else to remember. A lot of people, I think, I may be wrong, but a lot of people are waiting for all of the orphan files. No. You have 1 million founding members. That means if the corporate is responsible for creating 1 million sales, you might get 1. No, if it is to be, it's up to we. It's up to we, you and me. If it is to be, it's up to we, you and me. We're going to make this company big. 𝓚ₚ love the man. Huge respect for his determination and the vision that he has put together here. And now, it's our turn to show him that we're ready to give him that support. And with that, I'm hoping that you attend one of my Thrivalism Thursdays, and let's not ever give up.
Into the ground on the last lap of a 600-meter race in 2008. Heather actually had been the favorite to win. But when the race left only 200 meters, she tripped over another runner's foot, completely devastating her chances of winning. And that's when something absolutely remarkable happened. Heather got up and started chasing down the path.
And Dornan is injured. Her teammate just went to the front, though, so they may, she is going to catch Von Dorn, and she may catch the leader. Wow.
She got one.
This is a gutsy effort by Dorn.
She's moving to third. Dorn coming down the stretch from the outside. Dorn is coming on strong. Dorn all the way. Dorn is wow, unbelievable.
That is amazing.
Nope, let's never give up. You see, there's something very special here. We are borrowed for a moment in time from the great galactic spirit of the galactic dream by the dream of the planet, dressed in her clothes as an emissary of the intent to heal a deep and wide rift between the dream of the planet and the dream of the world. Some get lost in that travail, while others like such a challenge. Once returned to the great spirit of the galactic dream, even after uncountable millennia, it'll only seem you had left for a moment. That's a little bit of Toltec. Mark Cloudfoot Gershon, brilliant with his quotes. I have over 3,000 of his quotes. And that one, the dream of the world versus the dream of the planet. Now, in simple terms, the dream of the world is of the ego, more so. And it's all about what's happening in your four walls, at most within your community. The dream of the planet is the collective dream of all humanity, where we are going as a collective, all of us. So I'm going to read that again. We are borrowed for a moment of time by the great spirit of the galactic dream, by the dream of the planet, and dressed in her clothes as an emissary of the intent to heal a deep and wide rift between the dream of the planet and the dream of the world. Some get lost in that travail, while others like such a challenge. Once returned to the great spirit of the galactic dream, even after uncountable millennia, it'll only seem you had left for a moment. When we shift our energy from fear to power with compassion, we will find we were always loved beyond human understanding. It takes willpower to get the ego out of the way and silenced. It is not a passive act. Action with the power of intent will stop the ego's chatter and lead you to freedom. Welcome to the discipline of awakening. Welcome to the discipline of awakening, and welcome to 2024. I'm excited to be part of Onpassive. I am really thrilled to be part of the team of people who have that much compassion and the willingness to hang in there for 5 years. It still blows my mind when I think about it. Never even had a product for sale, and there they are. How come? What kept them there? Compassion. We are moving into the world. We're moving into the energy frequency of compassion on a global scale. And when the political mess gets calmed down, and when the gold-backed currency comes into place, you watch. We're going to create the closest thing to heaven on earth that we're capable of creating at this time. We are the ones we are waiting for. We are the ones Onpassive is waiting for. We are the ones that 𝓚 is waiting for. So let's boogie. Let's make 24 an amazing year. I'm accepting the challenge and moving forward. And I hope to see you on one of my Thrivalism Thursdays. Where are you to find me? Where to find me is in the description below. So you'll have to join one of the social networking channels where I do my marketing, so that you'll know where and when the Thrivalism Thursdays are going to be. Obviously they're always going to be on a Thursday, and I'm intending on making them every one of them this year. Naturally, there's going to be a few that I missed because of personal obligations. I just became a grandpa for the first time on December the 30th at 10:33 a.m. Amazing. I'm a grandpa for the first time. So that being said, I haven't seen the baby yet. Mom's not quite ready for me to come. She's got to get used to everything. And it's about an 8-hour drive from where I'm at. So I might miss a Thursday or two in January, but I'm going to do my utmost to not miss very many of them all 2024. So onward and upward on passive. Onward and upward on passive. We've got this. We've got this. We are the ones we are waiting for. I close all my videos with the same message because it's deep. And the deeper you think in my closing message, the deeper it will touch your heart. Because from my heart to yours, I wish you peace. I wish you peace profound. I wish you peace profound.